When you look at a company's financial statement, all those numbers for sales, profit, assets, they're all trying to tell you a story. But to really get what that story is saying, to figure out if a business is actually thriving or just kind of getting by, you need the right tools to decode it all. So let's kick things off with a question to get us in that analyst mindset. Imagine a company posts a $3 million profit. Wow, right? It sounds like a home run, an automatic success story. But is it really that simple? Okay, let's really dig into this with an example. Check out these two companies. We've got Company A with that shiny $3 million in profit. Then there's Company B with only $500,000. I mean, at first glance, it's not even a contest, right? But now, look at that second line, the invested capital. That's the money that had to be poured into the business just to generate that profit. And that is the context we desperately need. And boom, here's the punchline. This just lays it all out, doesn't it? Company A is only making a tiny 3% return on that massive pile of money it's using. Meanwhile, Company B is cranking out a huge 50% return. It's turning every single dollar of investment into 50 cents of profit. So I'll ask you, which business would you rather own? See, it's not about the big flashy profit number. It's about how efficiently that profit is made. That right there is the power of financial ratios. So here's our game plan. We're going to start by looking beyond that bottom line. Then we'll introduce the 5 key tools for a business health check. We'll do a deep dive on 2 of the most important ones: profitability, are they making money, and liquidity, can they actually survive day to day? And then we'll wrap up with the most important skill of all, how to actually interpret what you're seeing. All right, think about it like this. Financial analysis is like a doctor giving a business a full physical. You wouldn't just take someone's temperature and say, yep, you're healthy. Of course not. You use a whole range of tools. Well, in finance, our tools are ratios, and we group them into 5 essential categories to get that complete picture of a company's health. And here they are, our 5 tools. First, you've got profitability. That's the big one. Is it making money? Then, liquidity. This is all about short-term survival. Third is efficiency, which asks how good management is at using what it's got to make sales. Fourth, gearing, sometimes called solvency. This checks out the long-term risk by looking at its debt. And finally, investment ratios, which look at things purely from a shareholder's point of view. So let's jump into our first deep dive with the category everybody knows, profitability ratios. These are your headline numbers, the ones that really measure the core performance and success of a business. And the first tool we'll grab from the toolkit is the net profit margin. The formula is pretty straightforward. You just take the final profit, that's after all the costs and taxes are paid, and you divide it by the total sales revenue. This tells you what percentage of every sale the company actually gets to keep as pure profit. So what does that really mean in plain English? It's simple. Let's say your net profit margin is 10%. That means for every single dollar in sales that comes through the door, after you've paid for the products, the rent, the staff, and the tax man, you're left with just 10 cents in your pocket. That's it. But here's the most important part. And if you remember one thing, make it this. A number by itself is totally meaningless. Let's say your company has that 10% margin. Is that good? Is it bad? You have no idea until you compare it to a benchmark. If the average for your entire industry is 15%, well, suddenly your 10% looks pretty weak. See? The ratio doesn't give you the answer, but it forces you to ask the right question. Why are we underperforming? Okay, let's look at the next big profitability ratio, the one we used right at the start, return on capital employed, or ROCE for short. A lot of people think this is the most powerful performance metric of all. The formula is your net profit divided by the capital employed. Now, capital employed might sound a little intimidating, but just think of it as the total engine of the business. It's all the long-term money it has to work with. That includes the cash from its owners, which we call equity, and the money from long-term loans. It's the total pot of money that we're measuring the return against. And this gets us right back to our big idea from the beginning. If your company's ROCE is 15%, you're effectively telling investors, hey, for every dollar you and the bank have put into this company, we're generating 15 cents of profit. That's a strong pitch. But if your ROCE is just 1%, you're barely making anything on that huge investment. An investor could get a better and safer return just by sticking their money in a savings account. Now, being profitable is fantastic, but it does not guarantee your survival. It's true. A company can be incredibly profitable on paper and still go bankrupt because it runs out of cold, hard cash.
And that brings us to our second deep dive, liquidity. This is all about whether a company can pay its immediate bills. It's the ultimate test of short-term survival.
So the first line of defense here is the current ratio. It's a simple one. You take all of your current assets, that's stuff like cash, inventory, and money your customers owe you, and you divide it by your current liabilities, which are basically all the bills you have to pay within the next year. The way this ratio is shown with that little :1 at the end is actually brilliant because it's so intuitive. It isn't just a random number, it's a direct comparison. It's literally asking the question, for every single dollar we owe in the near future, how many dollars worth of short-term stuff do we have on hand to pay it?
So reading it is super easy. A ratio of 1.5 to 1, that's a pretty good sign. You've got $1.50 ready to go for every dollar you owe. You've got a nice cushion. But a ratio that's less than 1 to 1, well, that's a big red flag. It means you don't have enough liquid assets to cover your immediate debts. In the finance world, they call this overtrading, and it's a classic sign that a business could be in real trouble.
Okay, so you run the numbers for your company, and the current ratio comes out to 1.25 to 1. Phew, that's above 1, so you can breathe a little easier, right? You're in the clear. Well, maybe. A smart analyst never stops at the first number. They always dig a little deeper. Because here's the catch. What if a massive chunk of those current assets is just inventory? Piles and piles of stuff sitting in a warehouse. You can't pay your suppliers with a pallet of widgets. Not all assets can be turned into cash at the snap of your fingers. And that's exactly why we have an even tougher, more skeptical ratio, the acid test ratio, or as it's often called, the quick ratio. Think of it as a stress test. The formula is almost identical, but first, we subtract inventory, the asset that's hardest to sell, right off the top. This tests a company's ability to pay its bills right now, without relying on future sales. So let's see what happens to our company now. After we take out the inventory, the ratio plummets from 1.25 down to 0.88 to 1. Now, what does this mean? It means without selling a single thing from that warehouse, they have 88 cents for every dollar they owe. Now, even though that's below 1, a result over 0.8 is generally seen as okay. It shows the business isn't dangerously dependent on selling its stock just to keep the lights on.
And that really brings us to the most important point of this whole thing. We've gone through formulas, we've done the calculations, but that's really just the groundwork. The real skill of a financial analyst isn't being a human calculator. It's about being a storyteller and a detective.
So, here's the key takeaway. The calculation just gives you a number. The interpretation is where you create all the value. A great analyst would never just say, the ratio is 1.5. No way. They'd say, the ratio is 1.5, which is down from 1.8 last year and below the industry average of 2.0. This is likely because our inventory is shot up. We need to figure out why. Because at the end of the day, that's all financial ratios are. They are the tools that let you read the story the numbers are telling. They help you look past the headlines and ask the really smart questions about a company's health. So the only question left is, what story will you uncover next?